What is the most unexpected time you've ever had? For the record, I'm the most oblivious person ever. But a friend of mine invited me to attend her yoga class with her. I didn't think about it at the time, but she was giving me a lot of hands-on attention and help. We went back to her place afterwards and walked and talked on a greenway near her house. She said something along the lines of, "I'll tell you a secret if you tell me one," and I said some sh about not believing in myself, and she told me she was trying to get F'd tonight. I didn't realize she meant by me, but as a joke I said i.e. like I was Fonzie or something, and put my arm around her. Next thing I know, she's putting her tongue in my mouth. I realized that I'm brain dead. And things progressed from there. Lamau, you making it a deep conversation and her hitting you with the trying to get F'd tonight immediately after. Mans played the Fonz card and found out. Fonz around and found out. I'm trying to get F'd tonight. I hear you, aren't we all? Well, good luck with that. That's going to be some lucky guy. I'll admit I'm kind of jealous. Anywho, I better get home and leave you to it. After what I thought was a horrible first date, she was on her phone literally the entire time. When we get to her house, she says, "Wanna come inside?" Turns out, she was just nervous on the date. Did you also come inside? Spread your wings and let me come inside. Tonight's the night. Nervous about first date yet bold enough for S. When people have anxiety but also have horny. Against the side of my boyfriend's house while his family ate dinner inside. He wanted to take me up to his room. His parents said no. So he said we were going for a walk instead. Burn off some energy. It was surprisingly great. Girl, you're my hero. They ate dinner. He ate her. The evening. Double time. In theaters October 2069. My family-in-law, their secret recipe. I did the same. But on the side of my ex's house while there was a Christmas party going on inside. You hear that, kids? Sounds like Santa is coming really soon. I was at a hotel in college with a bunch of other college kids and a bunch of us were in one room drinking. I had to go to the bathroom but someone was using the one where we were. I said I was going back to my room to use that one and also to get some more beer. A girl in the group asked if she could come with me. When I came out of the bathroom she was wearing one of my t-shirts, and nothing else. I did not go back to the party room with more beer. She had a plan. You had an empty bladder. It was a match made in heaven. He had a bladder. She was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious? Bladder vacuator boy. I said "P you later boy." Hopefully it wasn't a 2. The louder he got in the bathroom, the more articles of clothing she removed. I went over a friend's house. She and I had been friends since elementary school and never took it further than that because we had no interest in it. Anywho, we were watching TV in the living room having a fun debate back and forth and she threw a pillow at me so I threw it back at her and it started a pillow fight. She grabbed me and tried to take the pillow from me. We were not extremely close to each other and we noticed it and looked at each other. It then turned into S in the living room, leading into her bedroom. Afterwards we laid in bed and talked for a while and then it continued for several years. Now we're married with 2 kids. Which god do you pray to, bro? Slange. Well, left me with a chainsword. I didn't expect a WH-40K reference. We had no interest in it. Glad this was proven wrong for you. Nothing better than being married to your best friend. Ask any older person, and they'll tell you, S is a lot like pizza. Don't stress the place you get it from or what style it is so much, because generally it's all about the same. You might not be directly craving it. Your needs will often be better met if you just allow yourself to say yes to a slice whenever the opportunity arises. Pizza doesn't have to be the best, most meaningful thing in your life to be enjoyed. It's just pizza. Finding someone you enjoy eating it with is the hard part, and refusing to have anything but the perfect pizza from that one specific restaurant you like will make that task much harder. I got late night sushi with a friend. She treated me since I was going through a nasty breakup. After a few sakes, we began to head out. She grabbed me by the sleeve and pulled me into the bathroom. She began hardcore kissing me and we ended up having S right then and there. That's a good friend right there. Heck yeah. Free sushi. Free sushi. And that was after dinner. I actually had no idea it existed. She brought me. It was downtown Denver near 16th Street Mall, which was very busy on weekends. It was fairly busy when this whole event took place. Got invited to a party because my buddy didn't want to go alone. We get to the party and he zeroes in on the girl he's been trying to get with. One problem. Her sister is there. So I play wingman for him. Turns out, her sister and I thought it was funny that we were both brought along to be a wing person. We were just joking about how they literally brought us here to be a distraction. Her sister also didn't want to be left alone. We all left together to my apartment. The 2 sisters lived with their parents and my friend lived on base. When we arrived at my apartment, My buddy and his girl ended up in the bedroom and me and her sister stayed on the couch watching Saw. Yeah, I know. Sigh. I checked in the bedroom and they were both passed out. I sat back down and she was literally said wanna F? Bent her over the couch and F'd her at the halfway point through the first Saw movie. Honestly, a straight up wanna F works much more often than not. I encourage every woman out there to freely use that because most men want to but we're just clueless. Her, wanna F? Me. Ha. Yeah, who doesn't? Vape. Guess I'll get going. It's getting late and those mobs in World of Warcraft aren't going to farm themselves. Trying to get enough mats for a new armor set. Thanks for the mudslide. Good night. In a hospital bed on the organ transplant recovery floor. This one's a little tough to explain. I spent 5 weeks in a COVID coma. My death was a very likely possibility. I came out the other side with surprise lung transplant. When I woke up, I could barely move. I couldn't speak, eat food, etc. You get the idea. 5 months later, I was at a point where I could finally, sort of, walk again. In other words, as a 47-year-old adult, I was semi-functional again. It had been a long haul for my wife, figuring out how to get me into a transplant hospital, keeping the bills paid, and making sure our family was coping through the darkness. My wife would make the 1-5-hour drive to see me every other day if possible. But it was tough trying to maintain her job and make it to the kids' soccer matches and school functions. She'd squeeze into the hospital bed with me and we'd binge watch on the iPad. One night, past visiting hours, she just decided it was time for that release. I guess, I was pretty useless. But she got what she needed. Somehow, the worst S of my life was also the best? Life is weird. At least I still have mine. I'm wondering if the nurses knew. You must have been plugged into machines and an elevated heart rate registers. My friend is a nurse and she tells me some crazy SH. They always know what you're up to and you'll be patient number 996 who's done it to their knowledge. Yep, we always know, as long as the patient has capacity to consent. We don't really care. I was a very young looking 22-year-old volunteering at a film festival as community service from a reckless driving ticket. One of the filmmakers visiting from another country who was around 30 started talking to me and she kept asking me weird questions like what year I graduated high school and whether I liked certain 15-year-old music. I was like, this chick is weird. But then she said, do you live around here? We went back to my app and ended up having S. Afterwards I was like, why did you ask me all those weird questions? And she said I was trying to figure out if you were old enough. We ended up hanging out the whole week and then she went back home and that was it. Good times. I'm just relieved she wasn't trying to figure out if you were young enough. Imagine if the genders were swapped in that story, lol. I don't even know ops gender, but I wouldn't do that either way. If I need to make sure someone is legal. They're probably too young for me anyway and I'm about the same age as the woman in that story. That being said, age gaps are a bit less problematic for two people looking for a hookup than it is in an actual relationship, as long as the two people are consenting adults, of course. You were going above and beyond performing your service to the community. Volunteering at a film festival sounds pretty awesome. It's cool you had that option instead of picking trash up along a highway. For my community service I volunteered at a soup kitchen and got hit on by weird drunk homeless guys, lol. No S was had, though plenty was offered. Gondola lift going up a mountain in Switzerland. My wife and were backpacking for 21 days around Europe and unexpectedly found ourselves alone on the gondola. We just looked at each other, smiled and went for it. Fantastic experience. Vaguely reminds me, I think it was Bryan Cranston on a talk show, and telling a story about how you could ride on a train in Europe inside your car like on a flatbed, and someone told him suggestively some of the tunnels were really long if you catch my drift. So apparently he and the wife talked it over and were going to try to get it on during the ride, though a sleeper car would have been a sure thing. Well, the tunnel they tried it on only lasted a few seconds, so they got caught getting undressed. That's awesome. Actually, my second best SWAL experience was a sleeper train car on that same trip. It's a long story so I won't bore you with all the details, but we had to sneak on an overnight train out of Paris and found an empty sleeper car. We got in and I closed the door and had to hold it closed for about an hour as people knocked on the door and tried to open it. We had reserved a smaller and private sleeper car, but there was a mix-up. I wasn't going to share a sleeper car with strangers overnight. I figured out how to use my luggage lock to fully secure the door and turned around to find my wife fully naked in the dark, with the moonlight bouncing off her body. We F-ed so hard and passionately as the train made its way to Munich, Germany. That was such a great trip. Don't they have cameras in those? If they did, I'm sure it was a heck of a view. This sounds terrible, and it was, but about 30 minutes before his dad's funeral, I was not the initiator. I mean, when you need some stress relief. It was a matter of life and death. Swimming did rise from the dead that day. I had S with my wife for the first time a few hours after I got back from burying my dad. I had a week-long sojourn bringing my mom back from my parents' vacation when I rushed across the country to be there after his stroke. Got home, wanted to just talk to someone nice. Met my now wife somehow off Tinder. Told her I'd be gone that weekend. Awkwardly then had to explain why I was leaving again, funeral, and woof. I was ready to take out some feelings when I got back. 5 or 6 times worth of feelings. I had a lot of them. Anyway, she married me and is amazing, so it all worked out. Kind of blows my mind that my dad missed her by 5 much. But I likely never would have met her if he hadn't died and all that went down. Life is crazy. Sorry for your loss. Your dad was the best wingman. From beyond, you could have asked for given how things turned out. What do women want during oral S but will never say? To quote our male counterparts, enthusiasm and perseverance. We want you to be super amped about giving us oral. Not just pretending to be. Also, when we say don't stop, don't effing stop or start doing something totally different. When I say lighter I effing mean it. Stop trying to push my clit inside my body PLS. To quote a famous poet, that sh aggravating. Baudelaire? Such an underrated comment. Soft, flat tongue, pretend it's an ice cream. I bite ice cream though. Perseverance. For real, that 2-day post-shave dive into the flesh pocket will rub a bean flicker raw, but I'm here to finish the job. You have such a way with words, or a talented tongue shall I say. Cunning linguist? Y'all need to tell your soda chew gum and eat sunflower seeds. Your jaw muscles jawline will thank me. I never thought about bulking up my jaw before. Interesting idea that my wife might find enjoyable. To be touched and teased everywhere, not just immediately nosedive to the clit. Lick, kiss, bite, pretend like my whole body is a meal you want to savor, and add some fingers once in a while. I'm definitely guilty of not using my hands and me, but last time I went down on my wife, I used my fingers and she hadn't came that fast in a long time. Go with the Spider-Man style, ring and middle curled up. I appreciate the tip lol. Heck yeah, as a guy, I love going down on a new female partner for the first time. It's like a game of hide and seek where there are multiple places for me to seek that pleasure spots, and I feel like a decorated Boy Scout on an exploration mission deep in the wilderness to find this elusive creature orgasmus. The exploration might include squeezing, pinching, licking, nibbling, soft caress, light massages, rubbing, anything she would allow me to do as I listened to her hip movement carefully and intently when I accidentally hit the spot to build her tension. Shakira was right this whole time. Hips don't lie. I always listen to the hip feedback when I'm down there exploring. Once I discover the right combo of spots and movement intervals for my fingers, mouth, or both, then I'll keep the tension building up till she hit the big O and put a smile on that face. I should call her. Haul up. I'm not done with her yet. Visual woman here who loves eating PSY. Do it without being asked. Use anticipation to flirt, whispering to her how much you want her PSY in your mouth. Make it obvious you enjoy it. Big slow licks to get them warmed up and slow focus licks and sucks on the clit when it's obvious they're warmed up. Don't stop unless she tells you to. I'm very direct and will give my partner pointers. If they don't do that, then ask what they like or don't like. Kiss, suck, tell them they smell good. Treat the clit like a small but more sensitive male reproductive organ. Touch their thighs or massage labia gently during or before. Don't be arrogant. Every woman is their own Rubik's Cube. Use different positions if she is open to it. I like her seated on a chair, legs spread, me kneeling and licking slow with lots of eye contact. Tell her how shy she looks from down there. Got a little warmed up only by reading this. I'm a straight female, and even I got a bit flustered from this. Phew. One of the benefits of being gay is that your partner understands your bodies in ways that straight men just can't. I'm not saying that all men are ignorant idiots, but women just get how everything works. I'm never comfortable doing it BC. I'm thinking more about him getting tired or uncomfortable and me taking too long. First and foremost, you need to know what kind of guy you've got on your hands. Some men eat PSY for you. Some men eat PSY for themselves, meaning they'll love it so much. I love a girl who takes a while. 1. You're naked longer, and I'm tasting you longer. I was gonna write this, but you already have. So thanks, and I second everything. Frankly, this comment section is turning me on. Husband will be so pleased to have us 10 minutes after getting home from work. Tell your husband we said hi. But say it during S as a surprise. Reddit sends their regards. Commitment. Do you, ops tongue, Slobberingly swear to always pay special attention to the clitoris. For as long as you're downtown. Even when she queefs. Until her legs they do part? Wait, are her legs supposed to be closed the whole time? Do you like eat it from the back or swimming? Instructions unclear. Instructions unclear. Ended up eating a. It's easy to rush in and just go 060 with no build-up. Definitely slow play the encounter. Savor the moments and make a tantalizing approach, like physically as you move in closer and closer, kisses down the inner thighs, run your hands up and down her outer thighs, etc. Treat the encounter as a chance to savor the most private and personal essence of a partner, and keep your own feedback to yourself. Don't whine if you happen to catch a hair or if she doesn't taste like a pina colada. For those of y'all out there who genuinely don't like doing it, I'm sorry, soldier on as best you can. Oh, also, totally underrated aspect, get comfy and just relax. It's so easy to zero in and focus so hard that you don't even realize you've been tensing neck and face muscles for 6 minutes straight and now it hurts. Pillow under her hips can help reduce neck strain big time. Plus it makes it a lot easier to get fingers involved. I didn't answer the question. Guess I can't really. Hopefully that's some useful info for anyone floundering down there. Savor the moments and make a tantalizing approach, like physically as you move in closer and closer, kisses down the inner thighs, run your hands up and down her outer thighs, etc. Treat the encounter as a chance to savor the most private and personal essence of a partner. Actually feels like a decent answer. The next bit about not whining should be obvious, so I left it out. Great summary. Also, don't forget about yourself being turned in. Keeping yourself warmed up downstairs is something I guarantee would also turn on the recipient if they see you stroking. I can't say from experience, but I heard a guy say that if you get a hair stuck in your mouth, lick her inner thigh to get it out. It doesn't stop the experience and make her self-conscious. If we say it feels good, don't effing speed up or change anything you're doing. Ruins the buildup of an orgasm. Just be calm, patient, and keep doing exactly what you are doing. The fact that this has been said so many times in the thread is telling. Consistency when we say don't stop. More cowbell. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more labia. Lol, so many PhD PSY lickers here and so few women commenting. I have been with enough women to lose count, not a brag just a fact, and every single one had different preferences. What women want is for you to pay attention to their reactions until you find something that pleasures them. Then keep doing that. Basically. Best and most informed response. I absolutely concur. Trim your fingernails. And file them. But my GF grabs my head and humos my face, or she'll wrap her legs around my head while moaning, so I'm doing something right lol. Definitely, she does the same to me too. Your GF or his GF? His. I don't want to have to ask. I want to be fingered. I want you to be passionate and enjoy that SH. Darn son, moan a little. SH, don't go directly on the clit. Have some manners, Jesus. It's a good way to not get what you want, though. The orgasm. Not sure why, but most men aren't able to stay long enough to get the girl to pop using just their mouth. Nobody likes a quitter. They want you to find the spot and then don't change a thing. Talk to me with my puss in your mouth. A little good girl comb for me goes a long way. Push my legs up over my head and bury your face in it. Or tell me I taste good. When you feel us getting nearly there, for the love of all the Pokemon, do not stop what you are doing. Do not change it up. Keep it that speed, pressure and tempo. Stop moving your hips then, or I'ma lose the spot in the thing I was doing. Lol. Make me. Look up the 7 erogenous zones on a woman and memorize them. 7, 7, 7, 7. Easy, Monica. If you can make it to the first orgasm, the next few will come much easier. Multiple orgasms during oral leads to amazing intercourse. How to continue after the first. My so is way too sensitive after the first. Do I just power through or take a break or what? Depends on the girl and your relationship and her boundaries. I've had girls climax and forcefully try to push my head away after I continued licking. But I overpowered them and continued, and it usually ends with another 23 orgasms, often in very rapid succession. Sometimes they blend and become one long orgasm, up to 2 minutes long. Afterwards they thank me for not stopping. I can already see a certain subset of Redditors getting pitchforks over not stopping when being told to stop. Refer to the first sentence of my post. I agree, but it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation. Even with the same girl. I feel like her saying stop once because of sensitivity but then immediately getting back into it is very different to her saying okay no. Stop. Requires some interpretation, and if it's not clear then the safe option is to stop when she says. A lot of us prefer the build-up versus you going straight for the clit. Like, we kinda need to actually get turned on first before that's pleasurable. Otherwise it's way too much stimulation and just feels invasive. An orgasm, multiple orgasms. Don't just lick, suck.